Hello everyone, good evening. Hello everyone, good evening. Welcome to VENKANNA English Guru. Good evening guys. Good evening Swami, Suman, Mahesh, Shobha Madam, Gangadhar, Bhavana Madam. So good evening all. So welcome to our YouTube channel VENKANNA English Guru. We have actually started and poetry in terms of Unit-1 poetry, and I'm giving you a background introduction with regard to various terms of poetry. Okay, so in relation to that, I spoke about three important terms. First, I gave you previous bits, how you will get different bits based on Unit-1, and I gave you more than 10 definitions with regard to poetry, which were popularly featured in the history of English NET examination. Next, I thought of introducing you nearly 20 to 30 terms of English poetry and various forms of English poetry. And in relation to that, I spoke about lyric characteristics and types of lyrics. And in my previous class, I spoke about what is sonnet and characteristics and types of sonnets. And we also discussed what is ode, characteristics, and three important types of ode. And before we go into the topic, let me ask you a few questions. And I hope you are ready with your answers. Okay? Yes. Come on, tell me. The word sonnet is derived from dash language, Italian or French or German or Greek. Yes, immediate response from you. The word sonnet is derived from dash language. Yes, immediate response. Italian, wonderful Nagaraju, wonderful Swapna madam, wonderful. Yes. Next, what are the rhymes? And the word sonnet first introduced into English literature by the concept of sonnet was introduced into English literature by immediate response. Yes, Sinva sir. Who? Thomas Watt. Wonderful, wonderful Mahesh. Wonderful, correct. Next, broadly there are two important sonnets. What are they? Broadly there are two important sonnets. What are they? What are they? Yes, immediate response. Yes. What are the two important types of sonnets? Italian, English. Wonderful, Mahesh. Wonderful. Wonderful. Italian and English. Who introduced Cuttle sonnet into English literature? Who introduced Cuttle sonnet into English literature? Cuttle sonnet. And Cuttle sonnet into English literature. Yes, immediate response. Jim Hopkins. Wonderful, Mahesh. Wonderful. Next, the modern love, which is written by George Meredith in dash sonnets, 14-line sonnets, 16-line sonnets, or 11-line sonnets, 10-line sonnets. I repeat, the modern love, written by George Meredith, is composed in 14-line sonnets, 16-line sonnets, or 10-line sonnets, 11-line sonnets. 16, wonderful Vijay, wonderful, wonderful Aruna madam. Yes, yes, we need to know. Next is sonnets from Portuguese, which is written by Sonnets from Portuguese, which is written by Elizabeth Barrett Browning, is an example for. Yes, you need to say sonnets from Portuguese written by Elizabeth Barrett Browning and examples for. Immediate response, sonnet cycle or Italian sonnet or English sonnet or Cuttle sonnet or Meredithian sonnet. Yes, immediate response, my friends. Yes, I want an immediate response from you guys. Yeah, wonderful sonnet cycle. Wonderful, Nagaraju. Wonderful. Next, what is a classical ode? What is a classical ode? What is a classical ode in literature? What is a classical ode in literature? Yes, response. What is the classical ode in literature? Yes, regular ode. Wonderful. Regular ode, which is also called classical ode or Greek word, was introduced by Pindar. Wonderful, Swapna madam. Wonderful. Pindaric ode or regular ode. In the following ode, the poet usually includes chorus. I repeat. In the following ode, the poet usually includes chorus, regular ode or irregular ode or oration ode. Pindaric ode. Wonderful, Bhavani madam. Wonderful, Vijay. Yes. What is the what is a common word used in English versification? What is a common word used in English versification? Yes, response. What is a common word employed in English literature? What is a common word? Irregular word. Wonderful, Nagaraju. Wonderful, Mahesh. Irregular word. Irregular word is introduced by. Irregular ode is introduced by. Irregular ode is introduced by. Irregular ode is introduced by. Very, very important. Come on, you need to say Abraham Kaule. Wonderful, wonderful guys. Vijay, Swapna madam, and wonderful. Yes. So according to Pindar, every Pindaric word is composed in 3 words lines. One line is written to the left, one line is written to the right, one line is written in the middle. The line that is written to the left side is called, or else let me ask this question, stroke, antistroke, epodes. One line is written to the left, that is called stroke. One line is written to the right, it is called antistroke. One line is written in the middle, this is called epode. This style of writing ode is called regular or irregular or oration. Very, very important. Come on, response from you guys. Yes, regular ode. Wonderful, Sahiti madam. Wonderful, wonderful guys. Wonderful for your active participation. Yes, remember and please like our video, subscribe those who have been watching our channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel and share our channel to your friends and colleagues. I repeatedly say to you guys, like our video so that it becomes a kind of I will get a lot of interest so that I can teach you better and better and better. Okay, and the real will come out based on your comments, based on your likes, based on your sharing. Yes, in our present video, I am going to give you a clear picture about what is elegy and what is an elegy, what is a pastoral elegy, what is a monody, threnody, dirge, epicedium. See, these are the various technical terms that I want to talk about in today's discussion. What is elegy? What is pastoral elegy? What is dirge? What is monody? What is threnody? What is epicedium? Okay, you can see these are the various terms that are related to the concept like elegy, my friends. So these are the things that I want to talk in our present class. So first you can see what is elegy. So elegy, according to from the classical aspects, in net examination there was a bit, and who is called the English Virgil in English literature? Who is called the English Virgil in literature? This was a bit. The Scarlet Gypsy, which is written by Matthew Arnold, is on the death of Netbit, and Lycidas, which is written by John Milton, on the death of Netbit. In Memoriam, which is written by Half-Lord Tennyson, on the death of, and it includes their sonnets, Netbits, my friends. And the word elegiac in literature, elegiac refers to Netbit, who introduced pastoral elegy into English literature. Netbit, my friends, all these are. Lycidas, what is the subtitle? A monody or threnody or a dirge or epicedium? Netbit. Tyresis, and Matthew Arnold wrote Tyresis. What is the subtitle? Monody or threnody or epicedium or what? What is the subtitle of that? And in the memory of W.B. Yeats, written by Dash, several times this bit was asked. Oh Captain, my Captain, wonderful elegy written by Walt Whitman on the death of Next, an elegy written the country church written by Thomas Gray. It is an example for elegy on the death of, and it is on dash option 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, who is the popular writer from Germany who wrote a lot of, do you know, elegies? Rainer Maria Rilke. Like you will get, which of the following is an elegy written by and Geoffrey Chaucer? Net bit, my friends. The Book of Duchess, which is written by Geoffrey Chaucer on the death of net bit, my friends. And old English poems like Pearl, Seafarer, Wanderer, Dior. So all these are examples for option elegies, dash, 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 dash. Answer elegies. Friends, you see, every bit you will find all the previous net-oriented bits. That's what you need to know. And it's just like studying literature, it's just like an ocean, but you need to read in a different style. You need to have your own style of reading that. So you can see what is elegy. Next, see my friends, elegy according to Greek literature, according to Roman literature, elegy denoted any poem written in elegiac meter. Any poem written in elegiac meter. What is elegiac meter? We read about many meters. We discussed meters and quantitative meter, syllabic meter, accentual meter, binary, and iambic, trochee, dactylic, and plenty of things that we had a discussion. But we were not able to talk about elegiac. What is elegiac? So any poem according to Greek and Roman, any poem that is written in the form of elegiac meter is nothing but elegy. According to classical. What is classical, my friends? Very, very important. The literature which is written before 1 AD. From 4th BC to 1 BC. During this period, you find plenty of writers like Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Heraclitus, Sophocles, Plautus, Terence, Euripides, okay, Homer, next Longinus, Horace, Pindar. All these were the popular writers, popular classical writers who are considered to be the exponents of Greek and Roman literature. They did not write in English, they are Roman. They wrote in Rome language, Greek language, my friends. According to that, elegy refers to a poem that is composed in elegiac meter. What is elegiac meter? You can see elegiac meter. Elegiac meter refers to alternating hexameter, pentameter lines. What is hexameter? What is pentameter? I told you in my previous video, prosody and meter. I feel like you have watched my previous video. What is hexa? For example, hexa means 12 syllables, penta 10 syllables, monometer 2 syllables, and di 4 syllables, like that. So hexa 12 syllables, penta 10 syllables, hexa 12 syllables, penta 10 syllables. This style of writing a poem is called elegiac meter. So what is elegiac meter? Elegiac meter refers to a style of writing a stanza or poetry in which and the first line is composed in and hexameter line, and the second line is composed in and pentameter line. Hexa, penta, in the way the poem goes on. This style of writing poetry, according to Greek literature, is called elegy. That's it. And have you got any bits based on this? No. But there was a definition. What is elegiac meter? Alternating hexameter, pentameter. That's it. Next, the term was also used to refer to subject matter of change and loss. Very, very important. Elegy refers to a poem that is written about the change, about the loss, frequently expressed in elegiac words form, especially in complaints about love. So, change of love and loss of love. See, my friends, elegy doesn't mean that school kids, be English literature student or MA English literature students, he knows that elegy refers to a poem that is written on the death of a person. Okay, this is basic bit, my friends. Elegy refers to a poem that is written on the death of a person. Everybody knows. But what are the other meanings of elegy? That you need to know if you are seriously interested to qualify UGC NET examination or set examination, my friends. Remember, very soon AP set is going to be announced. Very soon Telangana set is going to be announced. Recently, and K set, Karnataka set has been announced, and they have been preparing well. That is what you need to be careful. And September 23rd and UGC, they are going to conduct and the net which was postponed is going to be conducted in the month of September. So you must be serious about qualifying net examination in this way. So what is elegy? Elegy refers to a poem that is written in the elegiac meter. One meaning. Second meaning, elegy refers to a poem that talks about and change of love or loss of love. My love is gone, for example, you can say. So somebody talks about there is a change of love or loss of love. So to talk about the loss of love, to talk about the change of love also can be termed in the name of elegy. Example, you can see the wanderer, the seafarer, and the wanderer, the seafarer, Dior. All these are elegies, but these are not on the death of somebody. These are the poems that talk about the change of love, loss of love. Okay, that's it. So the wanderer and the seafarer, these are the two popular poems composed during Old English period from 450 to 1066. Next, that's it. Next, my friends, John Donne wrote a number of elegies. John Donne wrote a number of elegies. These elegies written in the late 16th century and 17th century, these are love poems, not death poems, not sorrowful poems, not lamentations, not grief. These are not about grief. These are about love. So the elegies, there may be a bit, which of the following writer composed a number of elegies which talk about love poems? John Donne's elegies, you need to know. So elegy doesn't mean that only death. No, it is about love. It is about elegiac meter. It is about change of love. It is about loss of love. Next, in the 17th century, the term elegy began to be limited to its common present usage. What is the common present usage? Death of a person, death of an important person. This is the common usage which became so popular only after the publication of Lycidas by John Milton. Okay, so a formal and sustained lament. What is elegy? These are the common definitions that we are actually talking about. A formal and sustained lament. Elegy, it's a lamentation. It's about death. It's about grief. It's about loss. It's about a loss of a person, loss of an individual, loss of an important person in our life. So, a formal and sustained lament in words for the death of a particular person, usually ending in consolation. Usually, is it possible for you to bring back someone who is dead? No. But what is required? You need to console yourself. Let bygones be bygones. Whatever happens, happens for good things only. And you need to control yourself. Okay, that's what. So it's a poem, formal and sustained lament in words on the death of a particular person, usually ending in a consolation. Usually the poem elegy ends with consolation. For example, the Pearl, it's a medieval poem, Middle English poetry. And Geoffrey Chaucer's The Book of Duchess and his own beloved. Okay, next, these are the mode of dream allegories. See, remember my friends, elegy can be associated with dream allegory. What is dream allegory? You will get a lot of dreams in that the person is dead. But when you wake up in the morning, the person is alive. So, in your imagination, in your sleep, you can think of not your own death. You feel as if and you are dead and your dead body is taken away to the burial ground and where you are buried, and the people come back and your well-wishers and all other people come back and they weep for your loss. This kind of poetry also can be associated with elegy. Enough. Next, you can also find out Alfred Lord Tennyson's In Memoriam, the popular elegy, written on the death of Arthur Henry Hallam. Next, W.H. Auden. W.H. Auden and W.B. Yeats were close friends. And on the death of W.B. Yeats, W.H. Auden wrote a poem in the memory of W.B. Yeats in 1940. And best examples for elegies. Next, occasionally, the term is used in its older and broader sense. Sometimes it can also be used and somber meditations. Friends, you need to understand. Elegy refers to elegiac meter. The term elegy is associated with elegiac meter, is associated with dream allegory, is associated with somber meditations, is associated with lamentations. See, what are the various terms, meanings of the word elegy? Elegy means a poem that is written in elegiac meter, that is one meaning. And that talks about dream allegory, book of Duchess. That is a somber meditation. It's a kind of meditation. It's a kind of your thinking. You feel when you're so for example, you see, for example, you can identify this poem, elegy written in a country churchyard, written by Thomas Gray. This poem talks about loss of moral values, loss of cultural values, loss of regional values, loss of ethical, moral, social values in a hamlet. It is not about death. It is not about death. It is not about loss of death. And it is about loss of moral values, loss of cultural values, my friends, you can see. So these types of poem which you can say somber meditations. You can see another example, the Do You Know Elegies, written by Rainer Maria Rilke. He was from a German poet. Sometimes you will also get a bit, who of the following is a German poet? You should know, at least you should be able to tell 10 to 15 names. Okay, and these are Italian poets, these are German poets, these are French poets. If you are serious, you should not say I will recognize in the examination, sir, if there are 4 options I will recognize. No, nobody is able to qualify if you have that attitude. You need to exactly remember, you should be able to recollect 10 to 15 names of German poets, popular poets, 10 to 15 French poets, 10 to 15 Italian poets, 10 to 15 Russian poets and critics. Some names you should be able to recollect. You will get bit. Who of the following is an Irish dramatist, a French writer, a German poet, an Italian poet and painter? A Scottish poet, a Scottish novelist? How are you going to say? Very important, my friends. These are all, if you are serious about clearing net examination. So, do you know elegies? These are the collection of essays, collection of elegies written, which are examples for somber meditations, written by Rainer Maria Rilke, who was a German poet. Okay, next. Next, my friends, what are the features of this elegy? What are the features of this elegy? Next, see, from the Greeks through the Renaissance, according to Greek literature, the best person who wrote a number of elegies was Virgil. Aeneid, written by Virgil. Horace, Homer, Virgil, popular poets, Greek poets, Roman poets. And this Virgil wrote a number of elegies in Greek, not English, my friends, not in English. Virgil, who wrote a number of elegies in Greek literature. Okay, in English literature, Matthew Arnold wrote a number of elegies. Hence, this Matthew Arnold, who belongs to Victorian period, is called the Virgil of English poetry. The Virgil of English poetry. Who is called the Virgil of English poetry? Matthew Arnold, because as Virgil composed a number of elegies, Matthew Arnold composed elegies. You can say plenty of elegies were composed by Matthew Arnold. Elegies, pastoral elegies. Remember that. So, what are the conventions? So, these Lycidas, which is written by John Milton, and John Milton also took Virgil as the source for writing elegies. So, this Lycidas, which is written by John Milton, all these characteristics are actually taken from Lycidas written by John Milton. So, what are the major important characteristics of an elegy? According to 17th century or in English literature, the lyric speaker begins by invoking the muses. The poem begins with invoking them. Invoke, it's a prayer. Invocation, it's a prayer to the God Almighty. Okay, before the movie begins, you will find some kind of prayer. In the same way, before the poem begins, the poet makes one kind of prayer to the Lord. Oh God, please permit me to write this. I am going to write a wonderful poem for the sake of the human beings. Please allow me, permit me, support me in the process of writing this poem. Like that, the poet makes a prayer to the muses or the God or the Almighty. This is the first characteristics of elegy. Next, and goes on to make frequent references to other figures of classical mythology. He uses a number of other gods. All nature joins in mourning the shepherd's death. So the lyric speaker, which means first we need to understand an elegy is a lyrical song. Already I told you. So an elegy is a lyrical song. This is usually sung by an individual. In that he begins his speech by invoking the muses. That is one. Second one will be in the process of his request to the Lord Almighty. All nature means all the neighbors, all the relatives. If someone dies, what will happen? All the people come forward. They also become the part of the prayer and they go on invoking the muses. All the nature joins in the mourning of the shepherd's death. One who dies, and on the death of someone, what he did to the humanity, to the human beings. The mourner charges with negligence the nymphs or the guardians of the dead shepherd. So first thing, the lyric speaker invokes to the muses. Second one, all the nature, all the neighbors, nature, all the people come forward and they also become the part of the mourning. Second one. And the third one, the mourner refers to, most of the times it is going to be the poet who is crying in the poem. It's a lyric refers to the poet who write the poem. So the mourner refers to the poet. The poet charges with the negligence of the nymphs or other guardians of the dead shepherd. He talks about, because of your mistake the person is dead, because of your negligence the person is dead. They go on making a number of comments against the person. There is a procession of the appropriate mourners. Each and everybody comes forward and they go on and crying, and you can find a large kind of procession will go on. If the person is a good natured man, what will happen? And there will be a long procession, and in the process of taking the dead body to the burial ground. That is the fourth important. Next, the poet raises questions about the justice of the fate. Next characteristics is going to be the poet. The poet is nothing but the mourner. The poet raises questions about the justice of the fate, or else of providence, or adverse to the corrupt conditions of his own times. Because of bad tensions, because of the bad luck, because of the bad fate, the person is dead. When someone dies, what do people say? People say his time is not good, hence he is dead. That is what the poet says in the poem in the process of his mourning. Next, such passages. Next, post-Renaissance elegies often include an elaborate passage in which appropriate flowers are brought to the deck, the hearsay. Sometimes the poet also talks about how the dead body is decorated before that is taken to the burial ground. And there is a closing consolation. There is a closing consolation, which means the person is dead. Is it possible for you to bring back the person? No. And they will console themselves. Okay, the person is dead. We are not going to bring back. And only God will take only good people. As he was good, he was taken to the heaven. So people, they console themselves. So there is a closing consolation at the end of an elegy. Seventh, and these are major important characteristics of an elegy. Remember, my friends. Next, you can see what are the various types of elegies. You can see in the first elegy is pastoral elegy. Very, very important one. And when you are reading a poem called, whenever you read it, because you happen to read a lot of poetry, and which becomes examples for elegies. Okay. So pastoral elegy, an important subtype of the elegy. Pastoral elegy, it is an important type. It is an important subtype of elegy. And pastoral elegy represents both the poet and the one who mourns are the same in this pastoral elegy, who is usually also the poet as shepherds. So which means pastoral elegy refers to a poem and that is written on the death of an important person, in which the poet, one who writes the poem, and the person who cries in the poem are the same. I repeat, I repeat. Pastoral elegy refers to a poem that is written on the death of an important person, in which one who composes the poem, one who cries in the poem are the same. That is pastoral elegy. Okay, for example, I'll tell you. John Milton and Edward King were the close friends. And they studied BA Literature, MA Literature together in Cambridge University, staying in the same hostel, C hostel, room number 13. They stay in the particular hostel, okay, in the Cambridge University. And they studied together for 5 years, BA English and MA English. And their studies are over. They departed to their hometowns. Edward King went to his hometown and John Milton went to his hometown. After a couple of years, Edward King is dead. He is dead. He dies. And this fellow, close friend who was his roommate, thinks about and cries because as he was, and both had a very close bond, relationship, friendship. And he was not able to control his emotions. Hence, he composed a poem. He composed a poem. In these poems, who wrote Lycidas and John Milton on the death of Edward King. And who is crying? John Milton. Who is writing? John Milton. That kind of poem which you can say. And pastoral elegy. Let me give you another example. Adonais, another important poem composed by P.B. Shelley. John Keats is dead. He fell in love with a girl and he is rejected and he had some kind of problem like tuberculosis. Okay, most of the English writers and died because of tuberculosis. Okay, as John Keats. Next, the John Keats is dead at the age of just 26. And his close friend, P.B. Shelley, he was disappointed. He cried a lot and he wanted to convey his emotions and he composed Adonais. Adonais, which is written on the death of John Keats, and who wrote Adonais? P.B. Shelley. Who is crying in the poem? P.B. Shelley. So both the poet, one who mounts in the poem, are the same. Those poems are considered to be pastoral elegies. I'll give you another example with regard to elegy. Elegy refers to a poem that is written on the death of a person. The person may be important or not, nobody knows. For example, Walt Whitman, the popular 19th century American poet, Walt Whitman, one day he was actually going, okay, in a street, and he saw many people who are crying because they cried because of the loss. They heard the news of Abraham Lincoln's assassination, and he finds a lot of people and coming forward to the lanes and there is a procession of crying, and he observed, okay, is he a really wonderful leader? Oh, he was. Hence, he was not able to cry and in the time, but he observed many people crying and came forward. After a couple of months, he composed 2 poems. Oh Captain, My Captain. When lilacs last in the dooryard bloomed. 2 poems. These 2 poems are written by Walt Whitman, and these are not written on the death of an important person, written on the death of someone, Abraham Lincoln, but who did not cry. He did not cry at all, but wrote about the problems and the people who cried. That is called elegy. So simply what I'm trying to say, all pastoral elegies are elegies, but not all elegies are pastoral elegies. I repeat, all pastoral elegies are examples for elegies because they are death songs, but all elegies are not examples for pastoral elegies. Remember that. So this pastoral elegy, which was first introduced by Sicilian Greek poet Theocritus. Several times this bit was asked. Pastoral refers to shepherds. It is etymological meaning, it was asked. Next, this pastoral elegy was first introduced in Greek literature by Sicilian Greek poet and his name Theocritus. Next was continued by the Roman Virgil, very important, who introduced pastoral elegy. Virgil, who wrote a number of pastoral elegies in Greek literature, was developed in various European countries during the Renaissance and remained current in English poetry throughout the 19th century, which you can see. Next, what are the popular examples that are examples for pastoral elegies? And notable English pastoral elegies: Edmund Spenser. Spenser composed Astrophel on the death of Sir Philip Sidney. Sir Philip Sidney is dead, and Sir Philip Sidney, Edmund Spenser, very close friends, and Spenser wrote and Astrophel on the death of Sidney. Next, Milton wrote Lycidas on the death of his friend Edward King. Adnois, which is written by Shelley on the death of Keats. See, so this is written on the death of Edward King. This is written on the death of John Keats. Next, and in Victorian age, Arnold's Tiresias, the pastoral elegy. This is written Arthur Hugh Clough. Okay, that is written on the death of Arthur Hugh Clough. Also, Tennyson's In Memoriam. This is written on the death of Arthur Henry Hallam. Next, W.H. Auden, In the Memory of W.B. Yeats, written on the death of W.B. Yeats. W.B. Yeats, a very popular writer, Nobel laureate. Next, Walt Whitman wrote and on the death of Lincoln, When lilacs last in the dooryard bloomed. I gave you only one example. You can also find Oh Captain, My Captain. That's it. These are some of the popular elegies and that are examples for pastoral elegies. Book of Duchess, that is also an example for elegy. So look at my friends, best examples for elegies. If someone requires any screenshot, you can take. Next, what is threnody? What is threnody? What is monody? Is now used mainly as an equivalent for dirge. Threnody, which is an equivalent for dirge. Threnody, monody, dirge can be used as synonyms. Next, monody for an elegy or dirge which is presented as the utterance of a single person. This threnody which is an utterance of a single person. John Milton describes Lycidas, for example, if you take the poem Lycidas, it's a pastoral elegy. 1638 is subtitle a monody. So Lycidas, subtitle a monody. Tiresias, subtitle a threnody. So monody or threnody, which means elegy, a death poem, a death song by the poet. Next, in which the author bewails a learned friend. Friends, remember, all these are net bits, my friends. Ordinary bit, Lycidas is written by school-based bit or MA English entrance examination bit. But Lycidas is written on the death of dash, set bit. Lycidas, which is written on the death of and on the death of Edward King by John Milton, and the subtitle of it is NTA net bit. The author bewails a learned friend. What is the subtitle? A monody. If once you observe the previous question papers, all these are repeated ones. Next, Matthew Arnold's called his elegy Arthur Hugh Clough, Tiresias, which is popular pastoral elegy written by Matthew Arnold on the death of Arthur Hugh Clough, and the subtitle a monody. Okay, like that. Next, dirge. What is dirge? Is also versified expression of grief. This is also an expression of grief. Death is nothing but a poem. Elegy refers to grief. Elegy refers to sorrow. Elegy refers to lamentation. Elegy refers to and consolation. Occasion of a particular person's death. See, it is also versified expression of a grief on the occasion of a particular person's death. Next, but differs from elegy, and because dirge is short, very short. Next, this is less formal. Remember only these two. What are the major differences between elegy and dirge? Dirge is short, less formal, but whereas elegy, lengthy, and it is composed in formal, as Virgil expressed in terms of the characteristics. Example, Shakespeare's full fathom fight, thy father lies. Full fathom fight, thy father lies. This is also net bit. Which of the following is an elegy written by Shakespeare? Full fathom fight, thy father lies. This is an example for dirge elegy, pastoral elegy. Dirge. Several times this bit featured in the history of net set JLDL examinations. Next, William Collins, a song from Shakespeare's Cymbeline. See, a song from Shakespeare's Cymbeline, which is written by William Collins, example for dirge. Dirge, it's a song on the death of a particular person, but which is short and less formal. Remember that it's very easy. Next, this is what the discussion that I wanted to talk about with regard to elegy. And you can also find another important word related to elegy, epicedium. Another important term related to elegy. Epicedium refers to a funeral song that is sung over corpse. It refers to a funeral song that is sung over corpse, because there is a procession of the dead body taken to the burial ground. When you take the dead body to the burial ground, a lot of people sing songs during the procession. That song, that the song that is sung, the funeral song that is sung over corpse during the procession is called epicedium. Okay, that's it. This is with regard to elegy and pastoral elegy and the other aspects, my friends. Okay, I feel like let us wait whether we continue or yes. Shall we continue? Shall I talk about another important concept? Yes. Shall I talk about another important concept like dramatic monologue? I think so. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I will also talk about another important topic called dramatic monologue. Okay. So, based on this dramatic monologue, how different bits were given? Who is the champion of writing a number of dramatic monologues? Netbit, Robert Browning, and Andrea Del Sarto, written by Robert Browning, is an example for dramatic monologue. What is a popular 20th century dramatic monologue in English literature? This was asked several times. The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock. The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock, 1915. Remember, my friends, and most of the times you will get this bit. My Last Duchess. My Last Duchess, written by Robert Browning, is an example for dramatic monologue. John Donne's The Sun Rising. Several times this bit featured in the central examinations. The Sun Rising by John Donne is an example for. Next, you will also have a bit. Which of the following is not one of the characteristics of dramatic monologue? Like that you will get. Once you understand, because for JL examination, DL examination, Polytechnic lecturer examination, you read My Last Duchess, The Last Ride Together, Andrea Del Sarto. These are the popular poems that feature in several examinations like JL, DL and Polytechnic lecturer examinations. So to understand them, first you need to know what are the basic points with regard to dramatic monologue. See my friends. Okay, I have yeah, and it's a matter of just so what is dramatic monologue? Dramatic monologue, it's a lengthy so usually monologue refers to a speech, a lengthy speech given by a single person. The speech of a person is called monologue. Monologue refers to a speech, a lengthy speech given by an individual. Next, in a play, when a character utters a monologue that expresses his or her private thoughts, it is called soliloquy. Several times these bits were asked. What is soliloquy? What is aside? Several times you can find in the NET examination 2015, aside, what is the definition of aside? What is the popular soliloquy? To be or not to be, that's a question, it's an example for several times. Next, Dr. Forchus begins with, Dr. Fortius ends with, and how many soliloquies are there in Hamlet, in Macbeth, in Othello? Like that, you will get bits. So we are not going to talk about drama. We are actually into poetry. So forget about them. So what is dramatic monologue? And what is dramatic monologue? What is monologue? What is soliloquy? What is aside? Because if you know the difference, then you will answer. So this dramatic monologue does not designate a component in a play. This is not related to drama. This is not related to drama or play. What? Dramatic monologue. Soliloquy is a part of dramatic monologue. And monologue, it's a speech given in any text. And it's a type of lyric poem. What is dramatic monologue? It's a lyrical song. It's a lyrical poem that is usually sung by an individual. Remember, my friends, sonnet is a lyric, ode is a lyric, elegy is a lyric, dramatic monologue is a lyric, epic is a lyric, mock epic is a lyric. So most of the poems are lyrics. Lyric means a song that is sung by an individual. So which means in dramatic monologue you can find only one character. It's a type of lyric poem, was perfected by Robert Browning, who is the champion of dramatic monologues. Bells and Pomegranates, which he composed for several times. Next, you can find My Last Duchess, popular dramatic monologue. The Bishop Audits His Tomb, dramatic monologue. Andrea del Sarto, popular dramatic monologue. The Last Day Together, dramatic monologue. All these are. Okay, so dramatic monologue refers to a poem in which the speaker, so I'll give you the definition, not required. See, the best known modern instance is T.S. Eliot's. What is the best example of dramatic monologue? T.S. Eliot's The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock. Very, very important. Who wrote Prufrock poems? T.S. Eliot. Who wrote Sweeney poems? And T.S. Eliot. Remember, Prufrock. Prufrock, this is the common word and common word that is used by T.S. Eliot, my friends. Remember, who wrote a number of Prufrock poems? T.S. Eliot. What is the popular dramatic monologue in 20th century? Okay, the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock. Very, very important, my friends. Next, Tennyson wrote Ulysses. It's a dramatic monologue. Next, the form has been, this is also a bit, who of the following writer did not write dramatic monologues? These are also very important. Hilda Doolittle, Amy Lobel, Robert Frost, E.A. Robinson, Ezra Pound, T.S. Eliot, Ezra Pound, Gertrude Stein, ESP, my friends, remember, according to ELT, English language teaching, ESP refers to English for specific purposes, but not ESP refers to Eliot and Stein and Pound. These are the three important poets. Together they are called the lost generation. Means these are the American poets. They come out of America in search of getting job, having a good life, and they went to Paris. They were not able to adjust in Paris. Again they came back. These together they are called expatriates, the lost generation poets during 1920s. So I have a code for them, ESP. Eliot, Stein, Gertrude Stein, and Ezra Pound, close friends from America, traveled to Paris, unable to adjust, and came back to London. And one candidate, Eliot, adjusted, and the remaining two went back to America. And Eliot became Nobel laureate, and the remaining two became ordinary poets, like that. So this is popularly used by these writers, and the popular poem this. Next, what are the features? What is dramatic monologue? Dramatic monologue refers to a poem in which the lyric speaker, the speaker who is not the poet, speaks and interacts with one or more other people. One or more other people do not give any reply. For example, and John Donne wrote a poem. John Donne wrote a poem, The Sun Rising. In that, a speaker is not John Donne, one lover, talks to the sun. Oh, busy old fool, the unruling sun, why are you disturbing me and my beloved? Please go away and disturb the farmers and the school-going kids. Don't disturb us. We were so busy last night. The lover, the beloved, talks to the sun. Do you expect any reply from the sun? Sun, S-U-N, not S-O-N. The sun, do you expect the sun is going to give any reply? No. This kind of poetry, which you can say dramatic monologue, what are the characteristics? A single person who is not patently not the poet. What is dramatic monologue and the characteristics? A single person, not the poet. Remember, in dramatic monologue, the poet does not become one of the characters. No. So, a single person who is patently not the poet uttered the speech and makes up the whole of the poem. What he wants to talk, that is spoken by one of the characters and listened by one or more other audience. But you don't expect any reply from the audience. And the speaker who speaks in the poem should not be the poet. If it is the poet, it becomes a dramatic lyric. If it is not the poet, someone else, it is, for example, My Last Duchess. My Last Duchess, it's a popular poem which features in several examinations. And in this, who is the speaker? The Duke of Ferrara. The Duke of Ferrara lost his wife. And after losing his wife, he is ready to get married again. And he gives an announcement, and some people come forward. They wanted to give their daughter, and one emissary comes back and he speaks to the emissary, and the Duke of Ferrara takes the envoy to his bedroom and shows the beautiful painting of his dead wife and shows, look at my wife, she is dead. She smiled at me. Not only at me, she smiled with my soldiers. She smiled with my ministers. She smiled with everybody. This grew. Okay, and what did I do? One day, and all the smiles stopped together. Which means, indirectly, you can understand that he is the one who killed her because of jealousy, because of sexual jealousy, because of because of other gender jealousy, and from the point of Duke of Ferrara, that girl should love only the king, because he buys that girl by spending 800 and pennies, and I bought you, I gave you a lot, but and I did a lot of things, but you are not able to laugh and smile with me. You are laughing with everybody. You are treating me as if an ordinary guy. And he develops a lot of jealousy and he kills. He narrates all this story to the envoy. But do you expect any kind of reply from the envoy or the emissary? No. This is called. And who is the poet? Robert Browning. Who is the speaker? The Duke of Ferrara. Different characters. So a single person who utters, not the poet. Next, second characteristics, this person addresses and interacts with one or more other people. They should not give any reply. They don't give. If they give, it becomes a dialogue. It's a conversational poem, not dramatic monologue. The main principle controlling of the poet's formulation of what the lyric speaker says is to reveal to the reader. So the major goal of this poem is to express the self-revelation of the speaker. What are his intentions? What are his primitive internal thoughts about something or someone? That is the major goal of this poem that is to be conveyed by the poet. Okay, next. So only one speaker speaks. This speaker is not going to be the poet, and this speaker speaks and interacts with one or more other audience or people. They do not give any reply, and the main goal is self-revelation of the speaker. The speaker presents his own ideas. And see, this is very important, the third one. And which means the main goal of dramatic monologue is to convey the speaker's self-revelation, what he thinks about, what he feels about, what are his internal implied thoughts about someone or something. The process of conveying this is the major goal of dramatic monologue. Okay, you can see John Donne's canonization, Wordsworth, Tintern Abbey. These are considered to be dramatic lyrics because they also talk about self-revelation. But here, the poet who speaks, the poet who composes are same in Tintern Abbey canonization. Hence, these are dramatic lyrics. If in the poem, one who speaks, one who composes the poem are the same, it is called dramatic lyric. One who speaks, one who composes are different, dramatic monologue. Next, you can also see, my friends, and I gave you two simple summaries. If somebody requires, you can read them in your free time. Okay, so this is what with regard to our two important aspects. One is elegy and types of elegies, dramatic monologue. There are no types with regard to dramatic monologue. That's it for today. And don't forget about our resolution. Like our video, and I don't say this, but you need to do from yourself. I ask you guys, like our video, share our video with your friends and other classmates. Okay, thank you all. We'll meet tomorrow and we'll talk about two or three different types of poetic forms in the next class. Okay, and see you then. Bye bye. And if you get any queries, and try to post your comments. Okay, like our video, make comment, and share our video with your friends.